What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Kid Taj, and today we're going to be talking about the top 5 small forwards in the NBA today. I did the videos on point guard, shooting guards, top 5 of both those positions. If y'all haven't seen that, I recommend you guys check those out. But today we're doing arguably the best position in basketball, at least as far as star power is concerned. I say this just because of the fact that we have so many top tier small forwards in the NBA. I know the point guard position, it seems like every team has or needs a good point guard in order to be good, but the small forward position is the most versatile position in the NBA, and it's a position where we get some of the best talent in terms of the upper echelon of the NBA. The top 5 small forwards are probably better than the top 5 of every other position. And the reason why, in my opinion, is because the top 3 players in the NBA are small forwards. Now, of course, before I get into this, as always, guys, disclaimer, for some of you that can't handle these opinions, that's all they are, just opinions. Please don't get too offended in the comments down below. You are completely entitled to think whatever you want because this is my video and not anybody else's. So clicking on this video, you're getting my opinions. You're not getting anybody else's opinions or facts because this is an opinion. Anyway, I shouldn't have to say this, but some people, like to get all twisted in the comments. Anyway, like this shit up if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new, and without further ado, let's get into this. Number 5, we're going to be starting with Minnesota Timberwolves small forward Jimmy Butler. Now, I forgot to address that Jimmy Butler isn't a shooting guard. I didn't put him in the shooting guards video. People were talking about in the comments like, whoa, Jimmy Butler's a shooting guard. Where's Jimmy Butler on your list? You didn't even mention him. Yeah, I forgot. I completely forgot about mentioning Jimmy Butler. I should have mentioned Jimmy Butler. I should have been like, yo, Jimmy Butler isn't a shooting guard. And I say this because I believe that Jimmy Butler's natural position is not only a small forward, but that he's playing small forward this year as well. I said James Harden's a shooting guard this year because he's playing shooting guard now that Chris Paul is there. He was playing point guard last year. I think Jimmy Butler's a small forward. He's going to guard the small forwards. Andrew Wiggins is the shooting guard because he's going to look to get his shot more. Jimmy Butler, as a small forward, is there to do a lot of things, to be versatile. Small forwards are meant to do that. I think it makes perfect sense that Jimmy is that small forward. He can guard bigger players. He can play against them. He can have them defend. He's just a small forward. He plays like a small forward, not a shooting guard. If you know his game, you know that. So Butler at 5. This guy's super solid all around. Like I say, he's one of my favorite players, probably my favorite player. And that's just because I'm a Bulls fan. I know he got traded, but still, he was one of my favorite players on the team. Still going to be one of my favorite players. And I just think he's so underrated because the guy has such a complete game, more than people know. Some people think of this guy as just like a guy that can score and defend. Some people think of him as a guy that can just score, just defend. People don't often recognize the facilitating ability this guy has. He averaged, I think, like over 5 assists, almost 6 assists maybe last year. And that was on a team where we had the Bulls had no shooting last year. Everybody knows this. There was no one for him to pass the ball to that would hit shots consistently. And man, he was still able to produce numbers like that. Responsible for points on the offensive end, and just the net ratings, like I always talk about, the net rating of Jimmy Butler is insane because when he's on the court, his team is good. The Bulls were a pretty solid team when he was on the court. When he's off the court, the Bulls were horrible last year. That's what he does. He makes your team better. He leads with a purpose. He definitely is extremely effective, efficient on the court. He does everything. He's a positive factor in basically all areas, and he has to be included on this list. At number 4, I'm going with the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and that is because Giannis is emerging as quickly one of the best players in the NBA. I would consider him something like maybe like the 6th or 7th best player in the league. A lot of people might think I'm jumping the gun on this, but did you guys see what this guy was doing last year? The Bucks didn't make the playoffs the year before, but this year, even with Jabari Parker and Chris Middleton out half a season each, he was able to lead this team to the playoffs, and in the playoffs carry them in a series that, damn, they almost pulled off that 25-point comeback in Game 6 against the Raptors. I mean, that was such a great game and such a great series, especially for Giannis, because he showed that even with the entire opposing team's attention on him in a series, he was still able to consistently deliver and prove that he is no fluke, that he does this. And it took so many players to stop him from being effective. Yeah, he had a few lackluster games, but overall, the task of stopping Giannis Antetokounmpo for the Raptors was such an overwhelming task that, it just helped the Bucks function more like the rest of the team. We're just getting better looks, and it was easier for them to play because Giannis was always attracting so much attention. That's why it's so good to have someone like him on your team. Also, Giannis has probably the most dangerous physical build out of every NBA player in terms of, if you look at his athleticism, you look at how tall he is, he's damn near 7 feet tall. He can touch the rim without jumping. At least I say this because there's like a picture of him in the playoffs on a dunk where he was hanging on the rim, and yeah, the rim was bending down because he was hanging on it, but he was on his tiptoes and hanging on the rim, and few on the toes were on the ground. I mean, they really were. So that just tells you, what his wingspan is, what it's like, and you see the guy's athleticism. He's as fast as any player in the NBA pretty much because he's got long strides, and there's nothing holding him back from being just super fast. Just get down the floor as quick as he can. In transition, there's no one that can stop this guy. He rebounds. He's actually a great playmaker. He plays point forward even. A guy like this playing point forward, I mean, it really can't get scarier than that. Man, the guy can offer every type of basketball ability and be good at it because he's a great defensive player. He blocks shots like a big man. He steals the ball like a guard. He gets out in transition. I mean, he's fantastic. He stuffs the stat sheet every single category. He led his team in every single category this year. That every single category, meaning points, assists, rebounds, steals, blocks. That's just what he does for his team, and he makes his team so much better. Just him being on the court, he is the Milwaukee Bucks team. Why I have him ahead Jimmy Butler is just because I think that he's such a threat. He's such a bigger threat. It's harder to contain Giannis Antetokounmpo than Jimmy Butler, because Jimmy Butler, he's 6'7", he's strong, but and yeah, I mean, he's so tough to contain, but man, Jimmy Butler doesn't really have an attribute about him. Like, there's nothing about Jimmy Butler that's just so crazy that you just can't handle. Giannis is a demigod, like we've all been saying. Like, he's Kevin Durant, except he's taller, longer, and stronger than Kevin Durant. Yeah, you can't shoot like Kevin Durant, and that changes a whole lot of things, but Giannis he's real close. I mean, I think the difference between Kevin Durant and Giannis in terms of skill, and just Giannis I think is underrated in general, even now. But I think the difference between Durant and Giannis in skill level is a lot closer than people really think. Yeah, I think KD's better, but he's not that much better. Now, number 3, we got KD. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, I think Kevin Durant, people are going to say that he's being savagely underrated on this list. Yes, I do hate Kevin Durant. Yes, he's like my least favorite player. He is, because I just can't, I can't deal with that move, and I hate how Kevin Durant going to the Warriors is affecting his legacy in a positive way, because he wins the ring that he would have won anyway. I mean, that the Warriors would have won the ring anyway, probably. They get Kevin Durant, and he makes it look like he carried them, or whatever, led them to the ring, not carried them, that he led them to the ring. And he's a huge deal, and he's played a big part. And I know he did, but like, come on, it's not like the Warriors needed you. They didn't need you. We didn't need you because we wanted the NBA to be more competitive. But I really can't get into my rant now. I do this so many times talking about Kevin Durant. It's like, I've already made these points. I hate how Kevin Durant's legacy is affected positively by this move. People think he's better than he actually is because of this, because he got the chance to play on that big stage, because he put up those big numbers in the finals, in the big games, and I understand it. I understand why. I don't think it should be happening, though, and the reason why is because if any of these wing players, if Giannis or Kawhi or Jimmy Butler had done what KD had done, they would have been in the same position almost. I know KD's better than Giannis and Jimmy Butler, so yeah, he had a bigger impact than they would have, but I'm just saying, I mean, if those guys are joining the Warriors, the 73-win Warriors, it's not like they're not winning a title either. It's not like maybe some of them might not win Finals MVP too, and that's where we get into like, okay, KD's a better scorer than them, he fits with the team better. KD can score. Like, he can score better than anybody in the league. I'll admit that. He is the best scorer in basketball, period. I believe that. And KD going to the Warriors doesn't take away from his true skill, but what it is doing is it's putting him on display more for people. People are like, okay, we're seeing more of KD in these big games, performing in these big games, must mean he's the best, must mean he's so good. Have him carry a team. Have him be the number one guy on a team that isn't all that great around him. What happened with the Thunder every single year? I'm not going to blame it all on KD. I know that he was a key reason why they were even good, yes. But KD isn't leading the Thunder to the NBA Finals and winning Finals MVP. He's not. And that's just that simple. I think that he's put on a pedestal now because of these games he's playing in. That's the reason why everybody's talking about Kevin Durant as this great player. That's why Kevin Durant thinks he's entitled enough to say he's better than LeBron James, which I guess he probably should, because every NBA player should think they're the best. But adding on to all my anger to KD, I just can't with that. At number 2, it's Kawhi Leonard. Yeah. Kawhi Leonard is the second best player in basketball, in my opinion. Kawhi Leonard, if he didn't get injured in that series, I mean, come on, guys. Really, people might be quick to say, oh, look what KD did in the finals this year. He's better than Kawhi. Well, yeah, man, Kawhi really, he really folded under the pressure, when they lost. Like, he was really the reason they lost, right? Because he got injured. See, Kawhi was playing a flawless playoffs before he got injured. I mean, he didn't have a single bad game. He really didn't. He was on fire. And they had to injure him. He had like 25 points in maybe 20 minutes of that game before he got injured. And they lost the momentum and lost the game and lost the series at 4 games. Like, I honestly think Kawhi Leonard, if he's playing, that series goes to 7. I do. I honestly believe that. I think Kawhi Leonard outplays KD in that series, because I think he's capable of that. I think that he's unstoppable. I think that Kawhi Leonard is a machine. He defends better than any wing player in the NBA, period. He is a rock-solid scorer, efficient. He rebounds well. He has virtually no weaknesses. People will talk about his playmaking. He did average, I think, like 3 assists a game. 3, I think, is still above average for small forwards. But it's not, look at what LeBron and KD and Giannis and Butler are averaging, right? Assist-wise. And then Kawhi. Kawhi has less assists than all of them. But here's the thing. In the offense that they play, San Antonio, Kawhi Leonard isn't really going to get assists because they move the ball around more. He's like the number 1 guy, but he's not really... If he passes to somebody, it's like if he passes to a wide open Tony Parker probably isn't shooting the 3. He's probably trying to move the ball around and get them a better shot. They don't really play like Kawhi has the ball and whoever Kawhi passes the ball to, he shoots. I mean, a lot of teams do that. The Bucks, the Bulls with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler and Giannis might do that. They will run around and try to get guys looks. Kawhi, yeah, he can get some guys looks, but the Spurs offense, they don't want to do that really. They don't want to play that game, and that might, leave people stuck with saying, oh, Kawhi's a system player, when Kawhi is still the only all-star on the Spurs. He still had a higher usage rate than LeBron James. He still has a high-ass usage rate, and he is the Spurs because he runs the offense the whole time. He really does. He gets them set up. Without him, like, I know you guys are going to say, oh, man, look at their record. Without Kawhi, it's still good. Well, look at the games they played. Be specific. Delve into the details. Look at the teams they played. Look at how much they won those games by. Look at the details. Just do that. I'm not going to go into it, but just do that. Anyway, I think Kawhi's rock solid. I think that he's better than KD. He's a better defensive player. I think that overall, I would rather have him on my team. I think he can lead your team better, and he doesn't need to join a 73-win team just to win a ring. Enough of that. Let's get number 1, the obvious choice, LeBron James. It's been like this for my entire time on YouTube making lists like this, whether it be top 5 players, top 5 forwards, top 5 whatever. LeBron James is always number 1 on this list just because of the dominance that he asserts over a game. He's unstoppable, nearly uncontainable, and requires a 73-win team plus Kevin Durant just to take him down. And this guy's been to 7 straight NBA Finals. He is, I mean, you really can't do anything about the reign that LeBron James is asserting here in the NBA. Yeah, Kyrie wants to leave, and it might make things tougher. LeBron James is still the guy that everybody's trying to take down. Whether you be an Eastern Conference team, you're going at LeBron. Really, if you're in the East, it's like, okay, what team's going to go against LeBron? Whatever team LeBron's on the East will go to the finals. That is a fact. Doesn't matter what team you put him on, he will beat everybody. I mean, he sweeps damn near every team in the East. He will. He'll do that. People will say, well, put him in the West, see what happens. I feel like LeBron James in the Western Conference, yeah, it could be tougher. But guys, look at the teams he's played in the finals. I mean, the very best teams in the West could beat him. So if he's in the West, he's at least getting to the conference finals every year, and he might win the conference finals like half of the time, which is doing better and is more consistent than every team in the West, every player in the West. He would be better than those guys. Also, add on to the fact that the Cavaliers are a bad team. Yes, you guys might not know this, but you should. The Cavaliers are a bad team when LeBron's off the court. They're a bad team. I mean, they're one of the worst. They're probably the worst defensive team in the NBA, maybe, when he's off the court. I mean, I know they're bottom 5, but they're also just a negative rated, like, their net rating is bad without LeBron James. It's bad. Negative. So that's, you know, he can turn that into a championship team. No one else in the NBA can do that. No one. So, yeah, I'm just going to leave that there. Not that much to say about LeBron James, really, because we should all know about what he's done, what he's capable of, just how hard it is to take him down as a player, add him to a team, and how good is that team. It's not really comparable to other players in the NBA. I know he lost this year, and people are going to hold that against him. People will always hold it against him. LeBron could have averaged 70 in the finals this year, and people will still hold it against him. I mean, they really would. So, if he loses. So, you know, what do you want him to do? What do you want him to do? Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like. Comment your list down below. I forgot to say that earlier. Comment them down below. Let's see what you guys think. I know you will do it. Hopefully you guys agree. Shout out Paul George, Gordon Hayward. Guys, I forgot the 2 big honorable mentions. I hope I'm not forgetting somebody else there in the top small forwards. I really hope I'm not. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'm out. Peace.